Outnumbered by John Bannon and Three Monkeys Publishing is a book containing 6 versatile routines that all have something in common. They use math principles. I know what you're thinking, oh, I hate math tricks. However, these aren't your ordinary math effects. The true methods are masked by the presentations. And the effects are truly powerful, with many of them being nearly impossible to reverse engineer, mainly because they have very little to no sleight of hand. And I know you're going to like at least a couple of the tricks in this book, which we're going to talk about. So, should you buy Outnumbered? Today, we're going to find out. If you find this review helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. And if you'd like to purchase Outnumbered by John Bannon or any other book for that matter from Three Monkeys website, please feel free to use this code at checkout for a nice discount, or use the link below in the comment section and description. It really does help support the channel because it tells Three Monkeys that you guys are enjoying these reviews, and it's helping you determine whether or not to spend your hard-earned money. So again, please feel free to use that link. It really does help. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Outnumbered. What do you get? When you purchase Outnumbered by Three Monkeys and John Bannon, you receive this soft cover book. It's 112 pages long and contains 6 professional level routines involving cards, money, and even coins, and sketch pads. John goes through each routine very thoroughly, teaching the required sleight of hand for each routine, and some cool moves that you can utilize as well. There are some illustrations, and it's the perfect amount in my opinion. There aren't too many illustrations, and they are clear, but there's also not too few. So it's the perfect amount, not too many or too few. Due to the fact that the methods for these effects are weaved together and there's very little sleight of hand required for most of the routines, you can be burned by your audience and they should not see a thing. No gimmicks are required for any of the routines in the books. What are the routines? The first routine is called Game, Set, Match. The routine is definitely best for offbeat moments, as it is at first presented as a game. You tell the audience that you'll randomly set pairs of cards down, and if they match, you win. So, you pull out some loose change from your pocket and a pack of cards is shuffled. You randomly deal 2 piles of 5 cards, and you flip the coins, and whether they land on heads or tails determines which cards go with which cards. However, when you add when you look all 5 pairs of cards, it seems like they didn't match. However, when you add up all the values of the playing cards and the pairs, then it adds up to the exact amount of change that you had on the table. So this is a very nice kicker ending. It involves a very cool subtlety, and the routine's very fun because it leads the spectators down a garden path. So they think the trick went wrong. They think it didn't work because the cards didn't match. However, then you show that the results match your wording, but just in a slightly different way. This is angle proof and it does not reset instantly. However, I think you could definitely get into this set position by culling, and it won't take much, but there is just a small setup there. The second routine is called Blindsided Plus. It's one of the strongest routines in the book, and it's my personal favorite because not only does it have a strong ending, it also has strong middle phases and a strong beginning. It's incredibly fair, and it can also play in nearly any environment, including close-up, parlor, and even stage. Although I love it, there are some restrictions though. Your spectator first names a 4-digit number with a caveat, which I'll talk about later. You write it down, the 4-digit number, on a pad and forget about it. You then talk about precognition and mind reading, and you have a deck of cards shuffled by 3 people. Then you put it back together and have the spectator take out a big chunk of cards from the middle, one by one, without looking at the cards. They're looking at it, you don't look, and they're not marked cards whatsoever. You're able to say each card that they're holding on to. You're able to call each card out one by one, and you do it first suit by suit. So first you do the clubs, you call out all the clubs they have, like the 3 of clubs, 5 of clubs, 6 of clubs. Then you do the hearts, the spades, and diamonds. And you're listing out the values on the sketch pad as you're calling them out. And somehow you just get every single card they're holding on to. And once you're finished, you add up all the values that you listed on the pad, and they're all from a shuffled deck, as I said, and you add them up, and somehow the values add up to the 4-digit number the spectator thought of at the very beginning. And it is nearly impossible to reverse engineer. It's so strong. The one caveat is the spectator can't name any 4-digit number. The digits must be all different. There can't be a 0, and the first digit must be a 1. John teaches a very good way to do this without raising any suspicion. And this routine itself is worth the price of the book. It will require a minute or so of setup, or a minute or two of setup before the show with the deck of cards, but it takes up easily 6 to 7 minutes of your show. I've added it to my show. The third effect is called counterintuitive. It's like a thought of card at randomly generated number. It's interesting, but it's a little bit procedural. Your spectator thinks of a card from a pack of cards, then they take out a few cards, and they add up the values of some of the cards, and you deal to the number that they've generated, and it somehow lands on the spectator's card. It's a very nice routine. It's a kind of cool play on card at number plot, but I do think there are still better ways to do card at number. The fourth routine is called Psychic Encounter, and it's very similar in effect to the previous one. However, the only difference is the method. I certainly prefer this one over the previous effect, Counterintuitive, because it feels a little bit more fair. And there's a very nice wordplay that comes into play with the effect. So yeah, 3 and 4 are pretty similar, and I do think there are better ways to do card at number, but they're nice plots. Nice effects. I think some might like it. The fifth effect is called Cosmic Conspiracy. You write down a card and number and before the effect, and then the spectator thinks of a card from a packet and also a number. And somehow, when you deal through the cards, your card is at the spectator's thought of number, and the spectator's card is at your thought of number. And it's a really, really fun effect. It works every time, and it can be you can get into it from a shuffled deck of cards. You can perform it surrounded, and really, there's no sleight of hand, really. It gets the job done by itself. It's like a self-working effect. The sixth routine is a magic square routine. Essentially, you have a deck shuffled, you set down 2 prediction cards, and then the spectator decides how the deck is shuffled. And it is truly pretty mixed up looking from the spectator's point of view. You deal the cards then after it's shuffled into 4 rows and 4 columns. You turn over the prediction cards, and the 2 cards are a 2 and a 3, which represents a prediction of 23. And when you add up the rows of cards, each of the 4 rows adds up to 23. Each of the 4 columns adds up to 23. The diagonal rows adds up to 23. Each of the 4 quadrants adds up to 23. The 4 cards in the center adds up to 23. Each of the 4 quarter cards adds up to 23, and it's brilliant. However, the deck does require a small stack before starting, as with quite a few effects in this book. The reset will take a minute or so, and you wouldn't be able to do it in front of the spectators. For this reason, this would probably be hard to do walk around, and it does require a bit of a big table surface. You have to be able to lay out all the cards, 4 rows and 4 columns. It's not immediately repeatable, as I said, as it does require the setup. You just need to be able to set down 16 cards on the table. Overall, the tricks in this book, are pretty strong. My favorites were Blindsided Plus and Magic Square. I didn't love the counterintuitive routine because it felt a little bit contrived. All of the routines, though, are workable, and I think Blindsided Plus is worth the price of admission because it's something you can add to your stage show. None of the tricks in this book are weak, however they do all involve cards, and quite a few of them require a small stack or setup. Not all of them, but some of them. But some of the routines you can also get into randomly with a borrowed shuffled deck. Who would I recommend this to? I would recommend this to any magician who performs with cards. All the routines have an element of math, but not all of them require you to do mental math, which the math does quite a bit of the work for you in most of the routines. The writing in this book is great. It's easy to read, it's easy to get through. And what is the price? This is $40 US, and it's well worth it. I think anybody could pick up at least 2 or 3 tricks in the book, and they would probably use them. And if you do, even for 2 or 3 tricks, even if you don't use the rest of them, it's well worth the price, because most effects nowadays you're buying at shops have a ton of gimmicks. They're going to break eventually, and they cost easily $30 to $60 for 1 trick. This includes 6 tricks for $40. So pick and choose what you want to perform from this book. It's worth the price. What are the pros and cons? The pros are, this is very easy. The math does a lot of the work for you. There's 6 tricks. There's some illustrations. A blindsided plus is great for a stage show because it has so many different elements. It's angle proof, almost all the routines here. There's some strong tricks, no gimmicks or anything to break. And there's a lot of variety in the tricks for the most part. The cons are some of the routines require stacks, which means you can't repeat the tricks over and over, and not all of them reset instantly. And a couple of the routines also felt just a little bit procedural, like counterintuitive, and the 4th routine, I believe it's psychic encounter or something. So yeah, psychic encounter and counterintuitive were pretty similar, and they were a little bit procedural. But overall, I loved this book. What percent am I giving this? I'm giving it an 85%. Highly recommend it. Even if you just buy it for 1 or 2 tricks, it's worth it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.